do things stand in terms of addressable, both the household or the individual level, and how easy is it, and what's the prospects for brands to execute?
Okay, I mean, I think it's a huge opportunity for brands. We don't delineate whether it's VOD or addressable linear. As long as I can get to the household, I don't care. So right now the scale for addressable television in either linear or VOD is 57 million, so that's about half of all US TV households. That number will grow to be about 70 million households by the end of 2017. So we have scale there. And then what we do too is we extend all of these campaigns using device level addressable or digital campaigns. So anything that we can use, if it's an IP, a device ID, or a subscriber file, we use that as a matching agent and expand campaigns out.
Cool, and there's a lot of talk about addressable audiences. We hear about the Open AP, we hear about NBC and audience guarantees and so forth. What are your thoughts about the changing TV marketplace around targeting individuals and what the programmers are doing right now, and maybe in some context the coming TV upfront?
So, I mean, I think it's the most exciting time to be in television right now. I think what's happening is we've always known that television works, but we never had data to prove it. And now we have all this data that we're able to show clients that TV does more than drive awareness. So TV, we can target prospects and we can drive a conversion. We can build brand favorability, and all the different metrics down the funnel. We're able to use television. We have the data to do it, and now we're able to apply it and do smarter targeting like we've done in digital for years.
So where are sort of the missing links? Is it in the data and metrics? Is it in terms of interoperability between the different operators? What do you want to see solved?
So, I mean, I think that addressable TV specifically is really hard to automate because it's television, and I think that in the early days, a lot of digital companies tried to just apply the same principles and move it over to television. Now, working with Cross MediaWorks, we're able to automate our processes. So when we came over, we have a very strict process of how we execute campaigns, but it's like this thick of Excel documents that we're now starting to automate. So over time, we'll start to see operational efficiencies through automation, and then over time, building everything so we can do API connections with the inventory providers and data partners.
Cool. And what about the scale of addressability? In other words, I think a lot of us, in terms of the media that's available to go addressable, the 2 minutes, the limitations of that. Where do you see the sort of the scale of addressability in terms of
yeah, I mean,
linear?
we place a lot of addressable dollars. We've never had an issue getting inventory. That being said, as the demand goes up, obviously that's going to happen. So that's when technology, like yield management tech, is going to have to be put into place so we can actually optimize the inventory and figure out how to best monetize the pieces.
And finally, what do you think is, when we meet a year from now, where does the industry go from here?
So like I said, I mean, I think that the automation piece is key. I think everyone has to work together to do it. And then I think the cross-channel attribution is the biggest win for clients right now. So we can use the set-top box data to get TV exposure data, and then we could link it using data spines with Experian, Axion, and KBM. We're able to actually truly show an advertiser, they saw the ad here, this was the sales rate. They saw the ad TV and mobile, they saw the ad TV and television. So we're able to use that data for both targeting and a reach extension and understand unduplicated reach and frequency, but we're able to close the loop across all channels for an advertiser and actually understand how media is working for the brand.
And finally, what do you think the state of education awareness is of marketers and media agency executives around addressable? Do they understand the value? Is it sort of an educational process still at this point?
I mean, I think that everyone understands the value. I think I just have the benefit of literally spending 3 years of just doing this. So I understand the nuances, and I understand how to work with the MVPDs, how to work with the data companies, and how to sell it into a client and have a client understand the value. Because if you don't do it, I mean, the first couple ones that I did, I sort of fumbled my way through. But you get back like stacks of Excel from the MVPDs, from the data companies, and then how do you make that into something that a client can understand and digest? So I think that's sort of like what we solve for, is stitching all the inventory together and then making the attribution make sense so the brand can actually understand the impact it had on their business result.